Hello, happy Friday, TGIF. I was thinking it was funny because almost every time I start to get prepared to take these videos, I put the camera on and then I'll have my hair like this. This is how I'll be when I turn it on. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, we have to do the middle part thing, as if I have Generation Z friends and followers. I mean, I should really focus on my target and the people that actually understand me, and it's most likely people who are all sitting around like this. Let's just be honest. So anyhow, we're gonna do that. So I thought that what would be good is kind of building this thread of videos, and hopefully the thread will make sense and will add up to a story. I figured as I started to prep some content towards this business side of the demand and that gap with access and opportunity, I was thinking that it would be good to also paint a little bit of clarity around the personal resources and how they can be internal versus external, or intangible versus tangible. Let me prove my point. So if you think about these core value system turning into intentions, which reveals where you put your attention and then make connections, take actions. So ultimately, there's two there that you can't see. You can't see someone's core value system, and you can't see someone's intentions outside of the way that those are actually transpired into where they're putting attention, what kind of connections they're making, and what kind of actions they're taking. And so it's always interesting when you think about like someone talking about, oh, well, that wasn't my intention. And it's like, but that's what you did, or that's not what you did, and so it's ultimately it doesn't really matter when you can say, okay, I get that you're saying that you value this thing, or that this is your intention, but this is what you're doing. And we all know that is something that we have to be held more accountable to, is that our core value system and our intentions are what are being revealed in our external resources. And so it's similar to that conscious living video that I put out a few days ago, where if you are conscious of your core value system and you're paying attention to these resources and kind of monitoring what's happening out here, like tangibly or visibly to other people, is that in line with the core of what I stand on? And that's that's a process, for each one of us on a daily basis. It's always a journey. Remember, I'm, daily practicing these things myself and trying to realize that there's no perfection, but there is a journey. And so in addition to them being internal and external, they're not visual, or intangible, tangible. You start to understand why businesses have to target these what could be perceived as tangible, because they can measure those things. They can measure where we're putting our attention. They can measure what kind of connections we're making and what kind of actions we're taking. Businesses can't measure what they can't see. So they can't, be targeting or measuring in a normal sense. What are the core values? How do I measure that? And then also, what are people's intentions? There's just not the digital tracking for that at this point. And so my point is, so if there's a deeper connection beyond trying to steal people's attention to try to get them to the actions of purchase, there's a way to have a deeper connection. But how? And one of the things that I believe is by actually having that core value system as well, having the same intentions, and like will attract like in this regard, unlike magnets. So if a business or a brand is living out a core value system and living out intentions in their visual resources. So having their attention in the same places, having their actions and connections in the same places that reveal an authentic and a true core value system, as well as their intentions becoming visual, then there's a deeper connection with potential shareholders, with customers, employees, and the community. And so it's just a good way, a good exercise, I think, for myself as I practice these things and try to live out the things that I'm sharing, to walk around and kind of analyze myself and say, oh, okay, so that's so true. You know, there's so many times when I'm acting and it's not in line with these internal resources. And then also thinking about the way that we are observing others in the same lens, or we're just observing others and judging them with this lens and not doing it to ourselves, which I think we can all be guilty of. And then also kind of going from personal lens to business lens and thinking about that as well, is like, okay, there's these resources, and it is really true that there's a measurement on these external tangible resources, but not on these deeper meaning, true self, mission, purpose, why, all of that. It's hard to measure those things, but it's not hard to align with them if it's authentic and if it's true. And so on a personal level, being aware of that and living that out in action. And then also on a business level, analyzing that and thinking about that. Is there a core that's being authentically lived out in these external resources? And so that's just a good exercise. I think it leaves a lot to consider and to build upon in the future. So have a great weekend and live out in truth and authentically. And I will do the same and see you all next week.